wherever it is, where you is, welcome to 4K for You. We're live again. Sorry we missed last week, but we're back. That's right. Welcome, everybody. Valiant isn't here, though. He had to take another week off. We didn't want to leave you hanging for another week. So I brought in Mike. How you doing, Mike?
Hello.
And as always, I've got Greg with me, or this way,
This way, that way, up, way down.
How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing this evening?
Doing okay. How you doing, Mike?
Pretty well. Doing well.
Good. And we got some regulars in the chat. I see Coffee Lover, Film Watcher, KB's here, who's also a member. Stan Lee's in the house. We've got Jamie G. We've got Spaceship Vampire. We got Cool Gamer, who's not just a gamer, he's a cool gamer. We got Cartoon Man 154. Welcome. Cheese Factory, who's also a member. Maestro She. We got Duck Nation in the house. How you doing, Duck Nation? We got 2 Guyan, if I'm saying that right. David Rayner's here and also a member. Thank you for that. And, of course, Humdinger and so many more. Thank you for being here. Midnight Mike, I see in the chat now. Rusty Shackelford. Welcome one and all. Please share out that link so everybody knows we're live. And also hit that like button so we know you like us, or at least are tolerating us, because we got the goods.
I'm tolerable. I mean,
we got the news, not the nudes, but we got the news. And Mike brought to my attention yesterday, and it's funny you're here because I've been sharing it around. I'm like so excited to finally see Thriller in 4K.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
That was awesome as shit. And then also Billie Jean and Beat It are supposed to be on the way as well, celebrating the anniversary, of course, of Thriller. It would have been nice to have Thriller for Halloween, but
yeah, it would have been. But 40th anniversary. That's why they're doing it. So it's understandable why they didn't, but they could have given a little taste and dropped Thriller around Halloween. But
yeah,
I've been wanting a high def version of Thriller for.
Well, and I hope this is. I mean, we've had a few music videos that have been remastered now, but it'd be nice if we got a few more.
Thriller, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see the Queen catalog remastered, of course, the Michael Jackson catalog, and of course, I can't really show the actual video itself, but I'll show a couple of
running
shots here just to,
because I help run a horror movie marathon every year, and used to be we could rent Thriller on 35 millimeter, and show it. If we were lucky, we would be able to get a 35 millimeter print that year because it was pretty popular.
Right,
but when everything moved to digital, all we had was a damn DVD of it, and it just looked like crap on a big screen. Right. So now we'll finally have a proper 4K, proper high.
Is this going to get a physical release?
I would hope so.
You would hope so, but man,
I never know
anymore. You never know anymore.
Well, the Beatles have gotten a lot of their stuff remastered, so that's been nice because I got a nice set of that. So Michael, I would think he's up there. Prince has got a few things, but not so much as videos. But I mean, a lot of these music videos, unless they were shot on video, like actual video, they were shot on film. So
as highly regarded that
muted. There we
go. Michael Jackson was at the forefront of videos.
Oh, absolutely.
You would think that they would have released his catalog video on Blu-ray by now.
I think that's what they're probably doing, is getting ready for something like that.
I mean, hope so.
Most of his videos were, like you just said, every time he would do one,
it was the cutting edge.
It was the new next expensive video of all time. It was like, how can you one up yourself this time?
He had Martin Scorsese direct a music video for
bad. Yeah. So, he even did they even did a documentary about that a few years back. So I know Bad's been scanned in HD. That I know. So, but surprisingly, the video itself hasn't made its way out there that I know of, but it'd be nice. Not only that, to also have a Dolby Atmos mix would be nice. The one you sent me was the 2.0, but yeah. Yeah,
like Thriller, they released in theaters in 2018.
Right.
It was tacked on to the House with the Clock in the Walls, the Jack Black movie. It was shown before that in 3D showings of that movie. And, so it took them another 4 years to actually get it out on home video, I guess. But yeah, John Landis went back in and was in charge of the restoration and everything. So they started that in 2017.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
It does. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah.
Even if it's not from I don't know if it's from the negative either. It might just be from an
Oh no, I
positive,
mean they went back and did a complete
they?
restoration.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because
Even if it's not, it looks good, is what I was gonna say. So,
yeah. Like I said, John Landis was in charge. He was in on the restoration of this back in 2017. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does look good. Even the the compressed file that I shared.
I was
going
to say that could be why too, is because it's compressed. Is why maybe I wasn't sure if it was from the negative or not. But
as darkness falls across the land,
the midnight hours.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, that's kind of cool. Kind of cool.
I don't know how many times I would be recording MTV back in the day, just hoping to catch Thriller. Because you never knew.
To have that video of it too, where it was like the making of and the video.
Right. Yeah, I used to have that on Laserdisc. I sold the Laserdisc years ago, but yeah, I used to have that making of Thriller and it came with the music video. We probably won't see the making of Thriller ever released again because of the rights issues with it. But there was a lot of Jackson 5 stuff in that documentary too. So
it'd be nice if somebody had the Laserdisc would rip that though. It'd be nice to see. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to find. So.
Cannon Fowl Darrell sends us a thumbs up super sticker. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. There's 75 of you watching. I'm impressed. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Then Michael Carney has been a member for 2 months at the minimum effort puppy level. Thank you for that, Michael. We appreciate that. So with that, let's not waste too much more time here because we had some announcements and rumors. Not a ton, but a few interesting ones, right? Right, Greg? At least
yes, a few. One is, I don't know if this has been confirmed, but Enter the Dragon is coming to 4K for the 50th anniversary in 2023. So I don't know if
that whole box set, aren't they, Mike?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe there's like a Bruce Lee box set coming
in 4K. I mean,
because that box set that came out last year from Criterion or a year before, whatever it was, those are from 4K Masters, from my knowledge.
Yeah, they went. Yeah, because Shout Factory released a box set of the Bruce Lee
Shout? One of them.
Whoever was Shout did first, and then Criterion released an improved version on the Shout Factory stuff.
Okay, I got the one that I think is Criterion. It's got a yellow box or whatever.
Yeah, the Criterion set's the better set. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got that. I would assume it's probably just an update of that, unless they're going to release them separately. Because Enter the Dragon is actually a Warner picture.
Yeah, that's a Warner Brothers picture. The other ones are
various studios, like I think it's
Game of the Death is a Fox film, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then Golden Harvest owns the 3 of the ones.
Yeah,
but then I don't know who owns the distribution in the US on them. That's the question. Because I think
probably Criterion right now.
Well, now, yeah, but because I remember, this is the funny thing is I remember when I talked to Bob Shea, one of the things he complained about is whoever it was that picked up distribution on those pissed him off because he wanted those bad. He wanted Big Boss and the other one back in the day. And I can't remember who it was. Was it Dino De Laurentiis or Corman? I can't remember which. It was one of those two, I think, because he had a beef with all those guys and Harvey Weinstein. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of neat because you're starting to see a lot of Sonny Chiba stuff getting released on high def right now, too.
Because the Ninja Turtles came about because of that, because they were like really close, he said, to getting the Bruce Lee films, and whoever it was swooped in at the last minute. And he remembers having a really good relationship with David Chow, I believe it was, through Golden Harvest, and through that, they ended up working out the really great deal through Ninja Turtles in the end. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, no, I can't wait for that. That I'm looking forward to because I love the Bruce Lee films.
Yeah. So right now that I would say that's still a rumor, but I did hear something about a box set like you guys said. So hopefully fingers crossed, because I would love that myself.
Maybe the 3 will come out in the box set and Warner will release the other one. Who knows?
Maybe. Speaking of Criterion, we got a couple Criterions coming. Looks like the 1968 Romeo and Juliet is coming from Criterion on February 14th. Yeah, I remember watching that in school.
Which is funny because it has technically it has child pornography in it.
It does.
Look at it in a certain way. Because the one lady who plays Juliet, wasn't she like 14, 15?
She was like 17, I think.
Yeah, 17. Olivia Hussey. Yeah, it was Olivia Hussey.
Yeah.
Who was also in Black Christmas.
Yep. That we one of my teachers got in trouble for that because it was he was a really old man, and it was like he just didn't care. So it was like the last day of our.
We watched it in
junior
our
year,
school
maybe?
too. We just had to get a signature.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
we
wait.
didn't for that. But like
Yeah,
it was
we
like,
yeah.
yeah,
They
it
let
was
us,
like,
but this was before they had the Leonardo DiCaprio one though.
yeah.
See, a lot
yeah.
of schools just show that one. I've heard.
Yeah.
Now.
We watched that, and then like it was like the last day of our junior year or whatever, and this kid was like, the teacher was like, you guys do whatever you want, and the one dude was like, can we see that scene in Romeo and Juliet
See
again?
the scene.
Oh shit! Again, that's why he got in trouble.
Fast forward
Yeah,
to it.
Wasn't
yeah,
the first
he
time,
was
it
like,
was the
he's like,
second
yeah, pop it
time.
in. He goes, yeah, go ahead, pop it in.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Because I just remember when we watched it, I think I was a sophomore. I think when we watched it in English class, everybody just kind of snickered.
Yeah.
You know, it was just
Yeah.
The only one we had to like when we watched Schindler's List was we had to get a parent's permission slip to watch Schindler's List. But like the Romeo and Juliet, my English teacher, like I said, he was like a 70-year-old man. And he was about to retire. He didn't give a crap. He was just like, we're gonna watch this. You want to watch it again? All right, put it in.
We had to get the permission slip for that one, but we didn't, ironically, for Clash of the Titans. But
No,
that's
really?
not sexual, but it's still full frontal.
Yeah,
nudity.
it has stuff. Yeah.
I figured people our age have saw Clash of the Titans growing up anyway. So
Yeah.
Another
Well, the funny thing was, Mike, is I always saw the TV version growing up. So when I saw it in school for the first time, was the first time I ever seen the non-TV cut. And that's the only thing that's really different. Is like that, and I think on TV they just crop it in or whatever. I mean, it's not gone; it's just they don't show the nudity.
Actually,
aspect.
I actually had the old MGM clamshell, silver clamshell.
Yeah.
On VHS.
Nice.
I actually had that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
eventually picked that up as used many years after the fact, but yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love Clash of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans is great. That needs a 4K release.
Yes, it does.
Right.
But I don't know how good. I don't know how good the stop motion would look necessarily. Depends on how many generations they'd have. But
it should look fantastic.
As long as he's got the negatives.
It was all on film. I mean,
did Harryhausen save all the negatives for that stuff back then? I mean,
it was all done on film, so they should just, the negative should exist somewhere.
Well, I would think that what he probably did, because he probably hired himself to do the special effects, is my guess. So my guess was that he probably stored the negatives himself for the effects shots and just turned over to Warner whatever the finished effects shots were.
Yeah, it's possible.
That's my guess.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if the originals are out there. That's why I was just curious. I mean, I'm not saying you would know, but I mean, I'm just got to kind of like those Fugazi, like, I wonder, like, because that's the thing I've noticed with a lot of movies. Of course, optical effects, can't get around a lot of those a lot of the time. I know with these 4K transfers, but it's just sometimes there's these minor things where it's like, why didn't they just go back to the negative for that? Why is that? like I don't understand. Like, is it missing? Like, because Reservoir Dogs, which is one we're going to talk about here in a little bit, the most famous shot in the fucking movie is not from the negative for some reason, believe it or not, and you can tell.
I'm trying to think if there's any Harryhausen available in 4K, and not
that I know of.
I don't think so.
So, but anyway, moving on, Greg. What else you
got? Also from Criterion, 3 colors, red, blue, and white, coming February 7th, 2023. I've never heard of that one, but figured,
it's
famous. I've never seen them, but I've heard they're
it's Krzysztof Kozlowski's trilogy. They're just basically 3 dramas. It's Juliette Binoche, Irene Jacob, and Julie Delpy star in each film. One is kind of I think it's white is kind of a comedy. The other one of them is like a depressing drama. That's blue, and red is kind of it's an
artsy film.
Story about, but they're beautifully shot. They should look fantastic on 4K.
Yeah.
I have not seen them since the late 90s. I saw them in the late 90s, but they're typical art house, but they are very beautiful films. They're pretty good if they're in that side of thing. The Criterion, the 4K should look fantastic. So
oh, he's in
blue specifically was shot very stylized in blue tones and everything. That should look fantastic on 4K. So
Valiant's in theater jail. He says, "Y'all smash that like." Fuck, I also like you.
Do what Valiant says. He's killing it
Right.
lately, man. He's
So what
killing
else
it.
we
I
got there,
love that.
Greg?
Do you want to get to the other Criterion one that's part of the list, or you want to say that
Sure.
till
Let's do
the
'em.
Dazed and Confused is coming to 4K?
Which needs a remaster like a
Yes.
motherfucker. I tried
February
watching
21st.
I tried
Okay.
watching Criterion's disc of it like a month or two ago.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's
It
okay.
looks like trash. I'm like,
Yeah.
'cause I was
Well,
hoping for a
hopefully-
remaster from the old Blu-ray, and it's not. It's the same. It's the same exact scan from before.
Yeah, I skipped the Criterion disc. I borrowed it from a friend of mine and skipped it.
I'm trying to think because I'm like, I was kind of pissy too because I don't even know if they really did anything new for it. There might be a couple things on there, but nothing stands out in my mind. I know I was very disappointed when I cracked into it finally because I'm like, this is just like the old disc. I'm like, this is kind of a double dip that I wasn't too happy about. But 4K, as long as it looks good, I'll tell you what. There's one that I'll talk about here in a bit that's a universal scan. That's why I feel good about this one.
Cool.
But anyway.
Cool. Yes. So Dazed and Confused, it's a classic. All right,
I
all right,
assume
all
it's going to
right.
be the
So
director's cut, which it has been since video anyway.
I would assume that's what it is.
I don't think they've ever had another version on video.
So hopefully, I mean, I never got the Criterion, so I don't know what it looked like before. So hopefully this one is
Just like the old Blu-ray.
Yeah. So there you go. Hopefully this one is finally a step above. But like Criterion, man, they give you the same packaging as the Blu-ray was in. So you got to make sure you look for the 4K on it, and they get a little pricey sometimes. Just a little too pricey at times.
Actually, unless it's something I absolutely have to own right this second, I usually wait for sales for Criterion stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
Criterion
best
don't
way to
go out
get
of
them.
print like the other guys, it seems like. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got
I've learned the hard way.
they've got their 2 big sales a year, and then periodically throughout the year stuff will go on sale too. So
From my recollection, I don't ever remember not being able to get a Criterion disc.
Yeah.
In the history of
I've got mine fairly easy. What few I have.
you'd have to go back to the Laserdisc days, probably, to find that problem. Because you could still get your hands on the DVD of Armageddon from Criterion, for fuck's sake. And they actually went back and 16:9 enhanced it. I don't know if you guys know that.
I think the Rock's. I think is the Rock out of print.
The Rock might be the only one that is out of print. You might be right on that, Mike.
Yeah, I know you can still get Armageddon, and it's not even an anamorphic transfer.
It is now. That's what.
Oh, it is now. Okay.
Yeah, I noticed this because I was like, "Here's the funny thing, Mike. I had that. That was one of my earlier DVDs, right? Somebody stole my special features disc. So I'm like, of all the fucking things to steal, I wouldn't have been so butthurt had I just lost the movie because I already got the Blu-ray. Yeah, there's like those 10 extra minutes of scenes that are kind of whatever. Right. Anyway, all the extra stuff is on the bonus disc. So somebody stole my bonus disc. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna buy it again because I found it for like $5. I'm like, fuck it.
You still got the commentary track where Ben Affleck trashes the movie for the most part.
That's just it. I was like, I kind of want that. So I was like, I threw it in just to compare one day, like way back when I got it. And I'm like, holy shit, it's an anamorphic now. They must have remastered it. They did.
Well, they do that every once in a while because I know Brazil was released non-anamorphic and they did a refresh on it on DVD where it's anamorphic on DVD now.
Without saying anything. And they did the same thing to Earth Girls Are Easy, Greg. I don't know. I didn't notice that until I checked it for.
Oh, really?
Recent. Yeah. Yeah, they went back and they put because this version that's on Blu-ray, pretty sure is that older scan because it does not look very good.
Yeah.
We'll get into that a little later.
It was all right.
Yeah. I thought it was all right. It looked good. It looked better than my DVD I had, so I was glad. I was happy about that.
But I think it's the same scan for that DVD. When they rescanned it, is my point.
There you go. Well, I mean,
it's an older scan. Clearly, it's not from the negative either.
Yeah. You got. Well, I could kind of tell it wasn't from the negative. I was just kind of. I think I was kind of really excited just to have it on Blu-ray.
I would be griping. If they would have been charging the $20 or whatever for it was originally listed at, then I'd be griping. Right. Since you can get it for like $10, it's like.
I wonder what happened because the Vestron title started out really expensive, and then the price dropped.
I don't know. They've really done good because some like those early Vestrons are still super expensive, man.
Yeah, the only Vestron title I don't have is Gothic, and it's like over $30. It's always.
I don't think I have that one at all. No,
it's like the OCD part of me. Like I gotta get it because I've got all like 27 now Vestron titles.
Yeah.
Gothic's, I'm not a huge fan of that movie. Don't really want to pay $30 for that.
Exactly. I feel that. But here's one. I don't know if you guys know. It's coming from Mike. Probably knows this. Is coming from Cauldron Films. Mondo Maccabee, Kill Butterfly Kill is getting a brand new 4K restoration.
Yeah,
pre-orders are live now in November. So
Mondo Macabre's they've been releasing a lot of stuff that's really out there. So
yes, I've never heard of that one. That's how you know. Like I said, we don't have a lot, so I was trying to get some releases there, and that's one I'd never heard of. But I thought maybe you might know that one. But for any Batman fans, the Adventures of Batman from the what is it, like I don't know what year it's like
it's late 60s. This
60s?
is the late 60s Filmation produced.
Yeah, it's coming on Blu-ray February 28th. Yeah, that one, February 28th.
I'm gonna pre-order that as soon as they.
So yeah.
Yeah, this would be the one that has Casey Kasem and not Adam West and
right.
I remember that one now.
I think Filmation still did it, but yeah.
Yeah, this is the Filmation series. Yeah.
So we had that.
Yeah, I want that one too.
Yeah, that one looks good. It looks. I was always a fan of those old ones. Like,
I've got I've got all those on DVD, and I seen they had Super Friends on HBO Max and HD. So I'm like, oh, I want the.
That's what I was about to ask.
Series.
Yeah,
there's the Adventures of Superman, and I want Batman, and I even want that Ruby Spears '80s Superman series. That is very.
Oh yeah.
I vaguely remember that one.
That one had the John Williams theme, and it was more. It came out at around the same time as Superman 4, so it has kind of that kind of a.
Yeah, you give me
aesthetic.
I remember.
Give me a. Challenge of the Super Friends and the Legendary Powers show.
Oh, that one too. All of them, of course, but like in order, because that's the other thing is they've been so scattered. Like I know Super Friends specifically. I think one that was all over the place through their releases.
Yeah, Super Friends and Scooby-Doo, they released those so confusingly on.
Well, luckily Scooby-Doo, when they did the Blu-ray, I think it's pretty straightforward. The only thing it's missing now is just those couple movies they couldn't get the rights to, right?
Well. Because if you buy like the Scooby-Doo Where Are You, like the complete series, there was really only 2 seasons of Scooby-Doo Where Are You. The 3rd season they put in was from the Scooby-Doo show in the 70s.
Well, right, but I always considered those. But see, I always considered those two as part of the same kind of thing. And then, because the box that I have is the one that's in the haunted house, and it has Scooby-Doo Where Are You, and then the 70s version, like you said, which was a little bit more updated with a different intro. And then it has the movies in there too, I believe, and they're only missing like 2 or 3 of them, I think. If I remember right. Or maybe I've got the movies separately. I might have the movies separately, but they're still missing like 2 or 3 of the movies, and I think it's like the Partridge Family episode.
Oh, that is a different box set. That's the new Scooby-Doo movies.
Yeah, okay. So I have that too.
On
they're
DVD,
missing like those ones because they couldn't get the rights from Paramount or whatever.
On Blu-ray, on DVD, they were missing a few episodes. On Blu-ray, when they released it on Blu-ray a short while back, they were able to get the rights to a few episodes. The only one they still don't have is the Addams Family episode.
That's the other one. Thank you, the Addams Family one, because
that's the only one that's missing. Yeah, that's the only one that's missing from the Blu-ray set, which is weird because you can get the Addams Family cartoon show through Warner Archive, but you can't get them in the Scooby-Doo episode.
I think they wouldn't sign off because I think they had a similar problem. I think with like the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family too, with Paramount or something like that. Like to get them to sign off or whatever was a pain in the ass or something.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't think that the animated Addams Family would be a problem, but
I'm not sure because that's the thing is MGM owns them, so it's hard to say. Yeah, they bounced around though.
Yeah, see, the new Scooby-Doo movies was actually the sequel series to Scooby-Doo Where Are You?
Yeah, it was the Saturday morning version or whatever you want to call it, but yeah, because they showed that was because it was an hour long and it was on Saturday mornings or whatever.
Yeah,
so that was my remembrance of it anyway.
Yeah,
but anyhow, moving on. Can't wait for those.
I love Scooby-Doo, so I'm sitting there talking about
Scooby-Doo. It's great.
I like the original few shows, and then once they're past that,
I like the original show and Where Are You. The stuff that was actually new when I was a kid, I didn't care for. I liked the older stuff. So.
Right.
Once you start getting Scrappy and stuff,
Scrappy was the stuff that was new. When I was
I mean,
because usually they didn't have Fred, Daphne, and Velma. It was just Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean, I didn't mind a pup named Scooby-Doo, but that was just basically like Flintstone Kids.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
It's just it was way past that. That was in the 80s. Yeah,
I liked The Reluctant Werewolf. I always enjoyed that.
That
one.
was their big movie. I mean, even though that was a
early
TV movie, but yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that,
remember that one,
Zombie
yeah.
Island, and the Reluctant Werewolf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they're
It'd be nice
releasing
to
a
see
new one like every other
Werewolf
week.
on Blu-ray. Yeah.
Yeah.
They released a new Scooby-Doo movie on home video.
I know.
It's like
all the time.
constantly.
Yeah, I saw
Which is
most of them.
huge.
My son loved Scooby-Doo, and I saw most of them as they came out. And most of them were not
Yeah.
very good.
No.
Just a heads up for anybody who's curious who hasn't gotten that Star Trek Motion Picture Director's Edition complete before I forget.
So they
Complete
knocked the price
edition?
down a little bit.
Yeah, it's not only that, but it's back available.
back
again,
in
'cause it
stock,
wasn't-
yeah. 'Cause,
Yeah. It was out of stock for a while, and it's a
Oh,
hell of a
nice.
price right now. $70 right now on
I
Amazon.
just can't
Get it while you can.
I just can't pull the trigger for just another version of that movie. And
It's semi worth it because I prefer the TV. Just because it has all the everything, and actually fixed the TV version this time. So
Yeah. Nice. Well, there's that.
I think it also has some bonuses, if I'm not mistaken. They're only in that set too on that disc, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's just that version.
Cool. I guess also coming to Blu-ray and sometime in 2023 is the Young Sherlock Holmes from 1985. So
Yeah,
that's
the movie with the first
that's overdue.
photorealistic CGI.
yes,
Mhm.
and couple
That's
blue.
overdue.
Yeah.
You would have thought they would have released that on Blu-ray to capitalize on the BBC Sherlock Holmes series at some point.
That was one of those movies that never seemed to get a lot of re-releases. I don't know if there was some rights issue involved with the
No, I think
distributors
it's
or
just
what,
because
but-
there's no name actors in it. It's
No, but it was a
bunch of,
Steven Spielberg produced movie. That's the thing. Is like that's
but I
one
mean,
of his only movies that's really kind of been overlooked time and time again.
it's Christopher Columbus
Yeah.
directed it too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think it's just it didn't make a blip at the box office when it originally came out. There's no recognizable actors in it. I think it's just it fell down a memory hole. And
The only reason I know
Just
of
fell
it,
out.
I was gonna say I've never actually seen the full movie. I just know of it because it was brought up every goddamn time between Who Framed Roger Rabbit and T2.
yeah, they bring
When
up
they
the
would
stained glass
talk
night.
about the stained glass night scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually saw it in theaters,
Oh.
and I was
Or Barry.
And I'm
They're
still
saying
kind of
Barry
that way.
Levinson did Barry Levinson maybe direct it?
yeah, that's possible.
Let's see. Young.
Maybe Chris Columbus wrote it. That could very well be. So I'm not so sure he started directing until the late 80s.
We'll find out real quick.
He wrote Gremlins and he wrote.
Yeah, it was Barry Levinson. Christopher
Yeah.
Columbus wrote the screenplay. Yeah,
That's what
Yeah.
I was figuring. I was going to say he was a writer
Yes,
there for
sir.
a couple of years.
yeah, okay.
Produced by Mark Johnson.
I was going to say it was like Home Alone was one of Chris Columbus's first directorial films, if I remember.
Yeah,
But anyhow,
I've never been big on that. I'm going to buy it when it comes out, but
yeah,
I was
Yeah.
never
it'd be
really.
cool to
I've
see it
never
finally
seen
for the
it,
first
so
time.
And I was definitely
may.
the target audience for it when it came out, and it was
I'll be curious to see if it actually lives up to, and not that it has like some overhype or anything like that, but it's just, again, it's one of those movies where I've only seen one scene from the movie over and over again.
prepared
Will
to
the
be
rest of the film live up
underwhelmed.
to it? I figured as much.
Yeah.
What else you got for us, Craig?
A couple Blue Underground releases. One coming in February 21st. Eugenie in 4K. World premiere in 4K.
What's it called?
Eugenie, the Marquis de Sade, Eugenie and Justine.
Yeah,
Not
Eugenie and
aware of that
Justine.
one.
It looks to be some like erotica type
Yeah,
things.
they're based on the Marquis de Sade works. So
Oh, really?
Christopher Lee, I think, is in Eugenie, if I remember correctly. I had these because they previously released these on Blu-ray. I had the Blu-rays of these because
Oh.
I've got a lot of Jess Franco stuff on Blu-ray. So
Right.
I think it's Eugenie that Christopher Lee is in because Christopher Lee did a few films with Jess Franco. So
Nice. Yeah, so if you plus that Blue Underground stuff is You know,
Underground does a fantastic job.
they do
on all
great
that
jobs
stuff.
on their transfers. Little pricey, but it's all because it's all done in house, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, man, pricey is just that's just one perspective, man. Because back in the 80s, you wanted to own something, $100 for a VHS tape.
Well,
That's true.
yeah.
That's true.
The
That's
chances
true.
of some of these movies even getting re-released again are
Yeah,
pretty
and
slim.
then in the 90s with Laserdisc, if you wanted a special edition something, you were looking at $100.
That's true. You're not
nice
wrong. You're
special
not
edition.
wrong. It is
It's
weird.
just a matter of time and perspective on the cost.
Exactly. It is
This
weird.
is like this is virtually like owning a 35 millimeter print for under $50.
Yeah. Because you think like it's true. It's true. When you think back, you think back to like the first VHS is like 56
better than that in
$100
some
in some cases. And
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Well, if you
Yeah, a
figure
lot-
you
yeah.
got the 4K negative scans in most of these cases, it's technically better than the 35 millimeter print.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it is perspective, but it's but you think about it like you see like one 4K for like $20, and then you see this for Blue Underground 4K for like $40, and you go, but even then, you're right though. It's all perspective. You're right.
Well, even I look back at like it was hard for me to part with a lot of older DVDs over time, not because of so much stuff that was on them or not. I mean, that was one reason I would keep some, but like a lot of times it was like, you got to stop and remember how much we paid for these DVDs when they first fucking came out.
It's true.
Like,
It's
it was
true.
a
It's
lot.
true.
Like, I paid almost
It's true.
$40 for my RoboCop Criterion. And
Yeah, the first. Yeah, I'm trying to think what the first DVDs. I think it was the Road Warrior.
the cheapest one I think I got
The
on
Road
my
Warrior was
first
definitely one of
batch-
my first. The Road Warrior was definitely one of the first ones I bought with my player.
Yeah.
They were like $30-$40 a piece.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, easy. Like I remember one of the cheaper ones that first came out was like Austin Powers, was like $24.99. So that was like a reasonably priced one. Like that's
Yeah. It's true.
like
It's
some
true.
of the older ones you'd have like Batman you could get for like $19.99 and a couple of those. But like even Gremlins I remember paying $26.99, and that was just a bare bones flipper. Like it had the full screen on one side, the widescreen on the other. That's all it was.
I
You
hate
have to remember-
those flip discs.
Because Blue Underground's a pretty small company, and they're putting out a very niche product that's not going to sell a whole unit, a lot of units
Exactly.
compared to
Yeah,
Top Gun
it's true.
Maverick.
You're
I mean,
right. You're right.
To make anything, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. So.
Yes, I totally get it, and it's actually worth it. I mean, yes, we may say it's some of us say it's pricey, but it's like you said, perspective. But it is worth it because
For some reason I
they're
remember
really good.
Blu-ray was another one too. When Halloween, it was just the Anchor Bay
The Anchor Bay Divimax.
bone dry
Yeah,
Blu-ray.
I remember
Still
that.
$41 brand new.
I think
Are
I
you
paid
fucking
quite
kidding
a bit
me?
for it, but
Yeah, I didn't pay that much for it. I got it for free, but long story short. But
I think I got all of those original Anchor Bay Blu-ray releases for review. That was like Evil Dead 2, Halloween, Day of the Dead, and
Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, I think was
Nice.
another one too.
yeah, Dawn of the
Nice.
Dead, Day of the Dead.
'Cause that's the
I
only
think
one,
that-
Dawn of the Dead one I had for a while on Blu-ray.
Trying to think if there was a
I think
fifth title.
did Evil Dead first one get a? They got
No,
a couple
not-
releases through Anchor Bay, but I don't know if they got one of the.
It
additional
did. That first wave though was Halloween, Evil Dead 2, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and I'm trying to think if there was another one, but I can't remember.
I'm trying to think too. I can't remember, but yeah. But yeah, no. Let's see here. We got Does This Dress Make My Ass Look Big? How you doing, buddy? It says FYI. Blu-ray Forum movie and TV deals. Best Buy deals, page 710. Post 141.84 has BF deals. Page 729. Post 14579 has spreadsheet. Supposedly starts Friday. And I did put out some leaks of the Black Friday deals for Best Buy. And of course, yeah, I always keep on Blu-ray.com when I actually have money.
Yeah, their price
Keep an eye on
tracker is quite
prices.
handy.
It is very nice to have.
Yeah.
I mean, even now, like, even though I don't own it, never would, you can get like the Batman for $9.99 on 4K. Right?
Yeah.
You can get Spider-Man No Way Home for $12.96. You can get fucking Everything Everywhere All at Once on regular Blu-ray for only $7.96 right now.
That's worth
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I
mean,
loved
even
that movie.
4K
Loved it.
is a little bit more probably, but I mean, still, it's like there's gonna be some hella deals coming up here. There's some of them I'm gonna wish I waited, but
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know, because you've had them and enjoyed them
To a
months,
point, some of them are
for
still in fucking
years.
plastic, dude. You got to know my life.
Well, yeah. But as you know, you got to look at you've had it, you've owned it and have been enjoying it for a while versus you're gonna pay it, $5 to $10 less. Yeah.
So what else you
That's
got? That's
the way you have to look at it. Otherwise, you're gonna be pissed off at price fluctuations in home media all the time. So.
I don't care as much as I used to, but yeah, it still bugs me once in a while.
Yeah. What irritates me is if I pre-order something and it gets shipped out and then they change the price on release date. Amazon's been pretty good about refunding you money in those cases lately, but they weren't always. I remember I bought Escape from New York. I think it was the Scream Factory Blu-ray. The price dropped like $10 on release date, and they wouldn't refund me the difference. I was so pissed off about that.
No, usually they do the price match thing now.
They've been very good about refunding you if there's a quick and sudden price drop, but they used to be like,
but I've caught those little bastards doing it a week after or 2 weeks after.
Yeah, they do that. That doesn't piss me off quite as much, but day of price drops, that really pisses me off.
But anyway, moving back onto the list, what else you got for us, Greg?
Greg disappeared. I think the kids got him.
Disappear for a moment. The kids got him. All right. Well, we had let's see here.
Terror Vision is releasing a 4K version of Happy Hell Night with Darren McGavin. And that also has there's another famous actor in that film that his name just escapes me at this time. But Happy Hell Night, that was previously released by Code Red on Blu-ray. Terror Vision teams up with Vinegar Syndrome, so you can get most of the Terror Vision titles through Vinegar Syndrome.
You actually was getting right to where I was next to. This is actually not going to be going through Vinegar Syndrome anymore.
Oh, okay.
Terror Vision stuff. Okay. Because I was actually about to get it. Yeah. Terror Vision.
Sam Rockwell was the guy that's in the movie. Yeah.
Terror Vision has left OCN distribution. That was through Vinegar Syndrome. They're part of their own. The owner of Terror Vision as Graveface distribution now is what it's called, and they'll be releasing everything through themselves. Terror Vision, Tom, we bought the Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Nightmares record from them. They're typically like record stuff, so there was that. But they're releasing a thing called what's it called? I can't remember the name of it. It's Terror Vision's video club type thing where you pay $225. I believe it's for a year. You get their first 10 you get 10 titles for the year. It marked down. It averages out to like $22.50 a title. That's even with like the 4Ks, and they're going to be releasing. They got like 36 titles. I was reading already lined up, and some of the first ones they're doing are like Mike said, Happy Hell Night 4K, and they're also doing like shot on video films, Attack of the Killer Refrigerator and Hook of Woodland Heights. And
are they the ones that are doing the Linnea Quigley?
Yes, and I was about to get to. They're doing the Linnea Quigley work exercise horror workout first time on Blu-ray.
Times back in the day.
Yeah, it's a good one. And Santa Claus from 1996. That's Claus with the CLAWS. Those are all some of the first couple titles coming from.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. So this is what they kind of specialize in. So that's what they're calling.
That was John Russo was behind that one. It is.
I think I remember that one.
Terrible. And I think it's Debbie Rochon that's the star of that. She was like a soft core micro budget actress.
Yeah.
Now, when you were mentioning the Criterion ones earlier, did you mention Hollywood Shuffle was coming as well?
Don't think I did. No.
Yeah, that's standard Blu-ray, but it's still Robert Townsend.
Robert Townsend movie. Yeah, was that his
February 28th?
I think it's his first movie that he directed.
So.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it is. So. I remember seeing it on cable quite a bit as a kid. I think Showtime.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but yeah. Sorry, I thought that I wasn't sure if you mentioned that one or not.
No, I did. I did not. I did not have that on my list, sadly. So, yeah, there you go. And that's about it. Other than we did, which we talked about on the physical media show last week because it was just announced. But going on sale tomorrow, the 17th, on Full Moon Direct, is the first decade of Full Moon films in one killer box set. The 11 Blu-rays, 11 collectible postcards, $120, all signed by Charles Band himself. He just posted a thing. He's signing pictures of them, and I'm gonna get you the titles here in a minute. So that
$120 not a terrible price. The only problem is most people that are going to purchase those probably have a lot of the titles they want.
Yes. Most of these are their
like the
they've
first
already
3
released.
Puppet Masters, Trance.
No, it's one of those.
What?
It's
what is it?
You get Last
that's
Foxtrot.
right. Never mind. You told me about this. Yeah.
It's 11. The 11 titles are Last Foxtrot in Burbank, Mansion of the Doomed, Crash, Cinderella, End of the World with Christopher Lee.
This is a lot of the older stuff.
Yeah. Best of Sex and Violence, The Daytime Ended, Tourist Trap, Laser Blast, Fairy Tales, and Auditions.
Okay, so these are like probably their first 10 films.
First 11 films. First 11.
Yeah, that's probably what this set is like. The first like 11 Empire Pictures films. Probably.
Yeah, the ones that he owns. It's the first. It's like the first years of Full Moon. What became Full Moon, and they're all going to be signed by Charles Brandt. So
in that case, it might sell because I think some of those haven't been released on. Well, I think they've all been released on Blu-ray.
I think they've all
recently. I think they just all. Yeah. Some of them have just recently been released on Blu-ray through Full Moon here lately.
Yeah, because I've got Laser Blast and the Daytime Ended.
I know I got Laser Blast, but I think that's the only one in there I might have. So yeah, send me a link for that tomorrow, Greg, and remind me.
I think I think Daytime Ended and Laser Blast are the only 2 that I have out of that set. I don't have Mansion of the Doomed.
I mean, I love Full Moon. I mean, yeah, their films aren't always the greatest, and their quality or the scans are not always the best. But I mean, Charles Band, man, he gives you a pretty damn good deal with his Blu-rays, except for the 4Ks, which Tom knows a little bit about that. So
they started out, their Blu-rays were pretty rough, but some of them are really good discs. So
I don't know what the fuck is up with transfers though. I don't know why.
I don't know what happened with that.
It's gotta be like an up convert or whatever of the Blu-ray or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
And the original Puppet Master, I watched that last week, and I'm just like, God, this looks like dog shit.
That's okay. Puppet Master 2 is the only one of those movies you really need to own anyway.
See, now it's one of my least favorite of the bunch.
Oh, really? I think that's the best one.
I love the first one and the third one, and
I only have the first 3 on Blu-ray. I've got a good number of them on DVD, but I only have the first 3 on Blu-ray.
Nah, 2 is one of the ones I don't really care for as much. I like Toulon as more of a good guy. That's just my personal preference.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how they change him after the second one, which I've never understood myself. So I like him as a good guy too.
I do have the Thomas Lennon one on 4K.
I have that one too. Yeah, that one's
I still haven't seen that remake. I heard it wasn't very good. So
it doesn't really have an ending to it. It just kind of stops.
Oh, not just that; it's like kind of unrelated to the other ones, but at the same time,
there's they were trying to reboot
it. It's like a loose remake, if that. So it's like,
I thought it was okay.
But anyway,
the end. It just kind of.
Are we down to the end of the line here, Greg? Or?
That would be it. Yeah, that would be it. Other than Se7en.
Yeah, we were. I think we brought this up a little while back, but the Digital Bits is now confirmed that Warner Brothers is working on David Fincher's Se7en for 4K UHD in 2023. This is one that I think is made for 4K.
Yeah. The black levels on this will be amazing.
I got to imagine that. This thing is gonna pop like a motherfucker.
It's gonna be interesting.
Because the Blu-ray's not bad. The Blu-ray's pretty good.
Because now I know Fincher for the Blu-ray, wasn't that the one where they let him go back and recolor time it then? Because he had bitched about the DVD. Because even though that DVD I remember earlier on was a fairly good DVD, it was like I guess it was very upset with the color timing on it.
Was that the New Line Platinum series?
I believe DVD? So, yeah. It had a really nice soundtrack too. It was like DTSX. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I still have that one.
That opening with I think Trent Reznor did the music for that, didn't it? Didn't he? At least that opening theme or whatever. And it was like, that
well, yeah, it was Closer.
Yeah, it was a
Was
different
the song
version of
they
it, but
used.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a remix version of Closer, but yeah, that's what they used for it. Yeah.
It's just the sound of that and that opening bit. I just remember on DVD that, like, at that time, sound wise, that was definitely reference quality. Now, picture wise, I thought it was good, but I guess for what I remember is that the DVD was a little too amber colored for his color timing preference or something like that.
Could be.
I think is what it was, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, so I think for the Blu-ray they let him go back and recolor time it. So that Blu-ray for a while was kind of the reference version of it. So hopefully they've allowed him. I think they've been working on it for a while, and I got to imagine they got Fincher working quite closely with it. So
you would think that, yeah, at least he would.
Yeah, because this is one of his pride and joys. Yeah.
Yeah, this was probably my favorite film the year it came out. I saw it a few times in the theater.
I would just like to point out Culture Casino. I'm with you 100%. 100% Culture Casino.
You don't want Gwyneth Paltrow movies, though.
No.
Pancakes.
I'll smell her candle, maybe. Not really. No, not really.
What if they did a box set? Too bad there's only one movie. You could do What's in the Box Set.
What's in the box set? It smells like my vagina.
You open it up and it's Gwyneth Paltrow's head. You pull the disc out of her mouth.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'd be excited for Se7en. Se7en it's pretty creepy, interesting.
I heard this
movie.
is the only movie where Kevin Spacey basically plays himself.
I liked what you put earlier. How many people gotta die?
You saw my tweet, huh?
Yeah, I saw it.
And he
stop accusing him of shit.
Yeah, he's being brought up in more charges in the UK, I guess.
He's worse than Hillary Clinton, man.
How many more lives do we got to lose?
I didn't do shit. He committed suicide.
Be prepared. Wonder if we're gonna get a creepy Christmas video this year.
Oh God.
Haven't got
one. Can only hope, right?
It's been a couple years since the last one.
No, but honestly, this is like, of all of his films that he did, I mean, like, he plays a pretty unnerving fucking psycho. I'll tell you what.
A great performance. And it's really
it's great. Almost like he's got practice.
Right?
Like I said, it was probably my favorite. It was probably my favorite film. Was that 95?
Yeah, I think so.
For Se7en. Yeah, that was.
I saw it in the theater. I remember it was pretty bitchin'.
Yeah, I saw it.
I couldn't believe they went there at the end. I'm just like, oh my God, did they go there?
So good.
They fucking went there. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Great.
If like, I remember, Brad Pitt said he would. Yeah, that was the only way he was going to stay in the movies if they did not change the ending, because that was at the time he didn't want to be regarded as a pretty boy Hollywood type guy, and he wanted this movie to have that ending. So.
Well, not only that, that movie helped push Brad into superstardom.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess he was pretty smart about it.
I mean, he had a few good movies up to that point that kind of pushed him up there, but then doing Se7en pushed him up to the point.
I think he was already there with Legends of the Fall, to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't know if you want to consider that A-list, like, box office leading man.
That movie was a big deal. Women still love that movie.
Yeah, but I'm talking box office wise.
That Legends of the Fall did pretty well.
It did good with like Oscars. Yeah,
I always like when I go back to what made him famous. It's always Se7en for me personally. But I guess
yeah. Here's the difference: Legends of the Fall did 160 million. Se7en did 327.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but 160. Legends of the Fall was what, 94?
Legends of the Fall probably got him the job on Se7en, though. That's
plus,
for sure.
Well, plus you got Interview with the Vampire in 94.
That was the one that also really kind of helped him, but that was a Tom Cruise vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tom Cruise got all the attention, but it was a Tom Cruise / Brad Pitt. You know?
No, I know what you're saying, but I mean, this was the time where he was technically the leading man, even though he had Morgan Freeman to back him up.
Morgan Freeman. Narrate your life.
Having deadly sins. Andy Dufresne crawled through 3 football fields worth of shit.
Yeah, just the character actors that they've got in that movie. You know, you got Arlie Ermy, you got Leland Orser. Yeah, you got all kinds of just character actors with little bit parts in Se7en. It's really interesting.
Culture's like, turn in your man card, Mike. Legends of the Fall, really?
It's Fall, great.
Yeah, it's not even a river runs through it, man. At least that's about fishing.
I'll take Legend of the Fall
Good
over
God.
Rip Runs Through it any day, man.
I'm
Old grizzly Anthony Hopkins. Great.
just fucking with you, but not
Great.
really.
Oh, looks like we got a sex bot in the chat here.
I got it.
All right.
It's Gallo.
Shaft is. Oh, was he really? Was Richard Roundtree in
Shaft.
7?
Yeah, Richard Roundtree played the
Oh wow, I forgot all
police
about
commissioner. Yeah,
Nice.
that.
like I
That's
said,
right.
yeah, like I said, this movie's got all kinds of character actors and just little parts that pop up here and there. It's great.
Nice.
I can't wait to check it out again. I got the Blu-ray, but like,
Yeah, Roundtree plays the police commissioner.
It's been screaming for 4K. So
I said Leland Orser plays the guy that gets the dildo strapped to him, where he had to kill.
oh yeah,
Yeah, Leland Orser plays that part. He's the guy that's freaking out in the interview.
right.
Yeah, Arlie Ermey is like the police captain. Yeah, there's all kinds of little. Oh yeah, Richard Schiff. Yeah, Richard Schiff plays John Doe's attorney.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. Yeah, there's all kinds of little parts in there.
And does this dress make my ass look big?
John C.
Greg.
Yeah, is it John C. McGinley? Is that? Yeah, that's his name. You don't even see his face. He's the SWAT commander at the end in the helicopter, and you don't even see his face. You hear him, but yeah. So even he's in that. So it's weird.
Does this dress make my ass look big? Well, it sounds like Greg would like this box set of it. Even worse, inside the box is some of her candles. Yeah.
No,
He said he'd take
not
the
really.
candles
Not
over her head.
really.
Says
Send
Michael
all my
C is
copies-
also in the
Send
film.
all my copies of that to Greg.
What's in the box? It's
What in the box?
Gwyneth Paltrow's box in a box.
No.
Imagine getting that delivered in the middle of summer and sitting out all day on your front porch,
Smells like
Open it.
sandalwood.
opening that box up after it's been sitting out in the hot sun for 5 hours.
Stop it! Stop it!
What's in
No.
the box?
Greg, you knew something about this. Why Legend didn't get a 4K? What was the deal with that?
It was something to do. It's a little bit of something to do with Disney. It's a little bit of something to do with like the
Right,
international and
it's
the U.S.
international rights
rights.
issues.
Yeah, so the way it all works out, they actually scanned what I remember. They tried to scan it in 4K, and they couldn't work out the deal between everything. So.
Yeah, between the different rights holders, they don't have a complete.
Yeah, they don't have the full scan
of the film.
Yep. That's what it boils down to. Is Disney
Actually,
didn't want to really play ball with them, and neither did the people that owns international, so they couldn't really get them to come together.
It's 3 different companies. It's Universal,
there's like
Disney,
multiple,
and Studio Canal.
Something like that. And it's like they all couldn't get all 3 of them on the same page to get all the pieces they need.
Yeah, it's like all the elements just don't exist.
Yeah, so they tried their best, but just
do it.
couldn't work it out.
Yeah, because I actually asked Arrow Video about that, if they were actually going to be doing a 4K version down the line, and they're like, no, it's going to be impossible to do one. So
That's pretty much a done deal. What we got,
so that limited edition set that Arrow put out is
it's a great Blu-ray. So
it is. It's good. It's a nice set.
Yeah.
So that was the big news of the week. Anyway, so Se7en. Hopefully, we'll hear more about that. Soon. I'd imagine it'll probably be October next year. It'll probably hit disc.
Yeah, probably.
And what a lot of people might not realize about Se7en was that it was when they did a lot of the film prints of Se7en, they were done where they did a silver retention process, where they kept a lot more silver nitrate in the actual film prints during the chemical process, and because those film reels actually weighed heavier than normal film reels. They left so much silver in it, and the silver nitrate really gives you more details in the black areas on film. So it'll be, and those are only on a certain number of prints of Se7en when it went out in theaters originally in 1995. I saw it once that way. I had to drive an hour round trip to go see it on one of those special film prints. It'll be interesting to see how they replicate that with some kind with the HDR grading process, to see if they can really replicate that pretty well. The Blu-ray does a pretty good job with it, but I'm really anxious to see it in HDR. It should look fantastic. So that's all.
Nice.
Yeah, I was actually looking here because I know Bride of Chucky was shot similarly. and I think it's what this 200T and 500T Kodak film is, because it looks like those are the two similar stocks they have here.
Well,
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they got 200T here.
It's not so much the film stock; it's the way they.
Well, I get what you're saying, but they actually shot these this way too, so they actually can come off that way. Like, there's a special stock they use, and I see here that's the two formats that are synonymous between Se7en and Bride of Chucky are the 200T.
Yeah, they had more silver nitrate in those.
Exactly, and that was the same thing with Bride of Chucky. Because I remember when they came out, they had mentioned that, and in fact, by the time they got to Bride of Chucky, it looks like they have a 500T. Because what that is it retains more of the darkness, and it gives
it gives more detail,
more velvety darkness, and if you saw Bride of Chucky in the theaters, it looked fucking amazing. Then when they put it on DVD, it looked all right. The Blu-ray looks like ass.
Yeah, not a great
that needs a 4K scan, and I think that's where these two will, like those two movies, because of that 200T Kodak film, I think will look amazing, because I think that's the key to keeping that look is that film. So it was like a very expensive film, though. Yeah,
it was. The 7 Blu-ray does a pretty good job of it, but I'm really anxious to see an HDR pass on it. It should look really good.
Bride of Chucky, I think, suffered because it was from the same as the DVD master. It was just
Universal probably didn't put much money into doing another.
No, it needs a 4K scan though, which is kind of funny because that's why I was like, why did they stop? And then we heard later on it's just Universal wouldn't let them have any of the Chucky movies. They just would let them have the Child's Play movies. That's it.
Go figure.
Because I have a feeling they got plans for some big Chucky box set at some point or something. Be my guess.
I'll take the first 4. After that, I'm pretty good.
We're just finishing up the Chucky season 2.
Yeah.
We'll see if we get another season of that. So
hopefully, I haven't watched any of the second season yet. I wanted to wait until it was completely done.
I watched the first episode, Mike, and like everything that, like, when people are like, oh, it's gotta be gone woke, it's like, no, it's none of these things.
No, not really.
All of those things that I was telling people the first season wasn't are in the first episode of the second season. So I'm like, fuck. I'm like, oh, hopefully it gets better from here on out. I haven't went back to it yet. So
I really enjoyed the first season. So
I haven't heard many people talk about the second season lately. The first season, I heard tons of people talk about it. Second season, I haven't heard hardly anything about it.
Well, I think it's because it was a big deal that there's a Chucky TV series, and now that the first season's done and over with, that's not such a big deal now with the second season. So.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is like the first season, I loved how organically you got to know these characters. You had 2 gay leads, and it wasn't like overt in the first season, and they played their relationship like any relationship would play out. The first episode of the second season, it dwells too much on their relationship to the point where I was like, nobody can even say it's like a gay thing, because even if it was straight relationship, I'd be like, okay, this is too fucking much of this shit. I want to see Chucky. This is a show called Chucky. I want to see fucking Chucky.
And you know what?
They pulled a Halloween Ends.
And you know the thing, I didn't realize until after I had already watched the first season, I didn't realize that Fiona Dorff played the younger version of Chucky in the first season. Did you guys know that?
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, she played the in the flashback sequences with Charles Lee Ray.
Weird.
She plays Charles Lee Ray. I didn't know that until way after.
I probably just assumed it was de-aged.
Oh, I knew it wasn't de-aged. I knew it was a different actor, but I didn't realize.
Yeah. I knew it was a different actor. That's right. No, I didn't know that was her. Now that you say that. Oh, yeah. Now that you say that. Yeah.
You can, once you're told that's who it is, you can definitely see it. But it's great. Yeah, it's really well done.
Well, it kind of makes sense now because Mancini's he's got this thing with getting the same actors in multiple roles. Yeah. So I'm not surprised. Because I do see that how he brought back what's his face for the second season was he made him a priest at the school.
Yeah.
Instead of being he's twin brothers in the first movie. What's his name?
And I guess
Devin Sawa.
I guess Meg Tilly's in the second season too for an episode or 2 also.
Okay.
Nice.
They brought her in too. So
Psycho.
Not just Jennifer, but Meg Tilly.
Yeah, they brought her sister in for an episode
Yeah.
or two, just because because they could.
Well,
And I don't think she's been in. I don't think she's been in anything quite a while. So I think
honestly, I've been just waiting until
tired.
I got paid because they do have it on Amazon. But then again, I paid for a year of Peacock. See, I almost called it Universal Streaming. They should have just called it that. Peacock Streaming, and I think when the season's done, it will go up on there. So I might just wait.
How long before season 1 was available on Blu-ray after it aired?
The Blu-ray was a few months, but I think it went like as soon as the first season was done. I think it went up on Peacock. So, and I think they only got like 1 or 2 episodes left of this.
Yeah,
so
I think
that's done.
I think the penultimate episode was this week. I think. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. And Greg's got to get going here. So, Greg, I don't know if you had any movies you wanted to bring up real quick because I was about to talk about a few of the things.
No, I didn't get a chance to watch. I didn't get any my like new ones. I mean, I got stuff to watch that we're going to talk about tonight, but I didn't get a chance to watch Reservoir Dogs or Wayne's World or anything like that, sadly. But I did get a chance to watch some stuff that I'll talk about later. So, yeah I'm sorry I have to go because the kids are being a little crazier tonight than usual.
We can hear them already.
Yeah, they're kind of. Usually, they're not this bad this late. So I don't know.
No worries, brother. I'll talk to you a little bit.
I don't miss that sound at all.
I know.
Right? No
I'll
kidding.
see you guys in a little bit. Have a good one.
No, yeah, I actually got Reservoir Dogs the other day. I watched it. It looks great. Does appear
I just
to
got
have
mine. I just got mine a couple hours ago. I haven't had a chance to dig into it. Yeah, originally Amazon said I wasn't getting it until November 3rd, and then they updated it to the day after release. So.
And it does have what I would say. I don't know. See, it's not like the Terminator DNR, right? Like it doesn't make everybody look plastic.
Wax figures.
But what it is like they have scrubbed out any and all. It appears any and all like grain of any sort. It feels like
just take the grain structure pretty much out of it.
Kind of, basically. Like now, it doesn't look horrible. I don't want to freak anybody out because compared to what it looks like in any of the previous Blu-rays. Looks fucking amazing. And the new Blu-ray that comes with it, the standard Blu-ray, looks great on its own. But there's just a few things that I felt like they had washed a little bit out of the picture. And there's a few shots that I just scratched my head on why they're not from the negative, like the famous Mexican standoff shot is.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Definitely not from the negative for some reason. I don't know if it's lost or what the hell happened there, but yeah.
It's odd that it wouldn't be.
There's only a few shots here and there like that, but like other than that, it was pretty. Here's the other reason why there might not be as much. It might not be as grainy as most films of that time. Is a lot of it's daytime. We forget about that because it was shot in a way that they didn't have to utilize a lot of.
It had very controlled lighting because it was all pretty much on a set. All the warehouse stuff was shot on a set. So
yeah. Exactly. So and all the shots are mainly daytime shots and. Once you get to like the scene where it's in the darker bar, there's a little bit better grain structure there, but you could definitely tell they did apply some noise reduction to it. Probably more of a noise reduction than anything. But
Doug, 1985 VA, last movie for Meg Tilly was Psycho 2. No, she did stuff way after that.
Oh, she's done tons of stuff since then.
Yeah, she's done tons of stuff. Yeah, Psycho 2 was relatively early in her acting career.
In fact, I'd say she probably has had more.
I mean, she was in Body Snatchers in the 90s. In the Abel Ferreira remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. She was in that.
Yeah. No, my bigger complaint, I guess, with Reservoir Dogs overall is just that for some reason they have not carried over any of those artisan special features since back in the day.
Yeah, they
other than the deleted scenes.
Yeah, I just wonder if that's a rights issue, if they didn't want to pay the people that created those featurettes.
Well, some of them make no sense because you've got like, I can get maybe some of the Sundance interviews and stuff like that because there's a lot of that on there. But like even the EPK interviews are gone.
Are you able to look at like the disc itself, like the file structure? I just wonder how much empty space is on that 4K disc.
I don't.
Well, no, it's got an included Blu-ray for the special features.
Yeah, there's no special features on the disc at all, and all they did was just carry over the special features from their Blu-ray from before, which is literally just the deleted scenes, which is the only thing that got carried over from the previous.
Yeah,
and then there was at that time 2 new featurettes, one with like a bunch of talking head interviews with like that big dick hole from Ain't It Cool News and a few other people. like like no name celebrities, basically.
Right.
Like, like I could give a shit less if it was carried over, and then like a profile of each of the characters, which is really like a lame kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when they drop special features, it's for the best.
Sometimes yes,
Like
but in this
edit
case,
it
like,
down.
yeah, I like on the artisan disc though, they have like all the outtakes from the K Billy stuff and all that on there,
Mm.
like with Steve Wright and all that. Like you're like, I wish that was on here. Like, where's all
Yeah, I
that
haven't looked at,
stuff?
yeah, I haven't looked at those discs in quite a long time. I think I've got 3 copies of Reservoir Dogs on DVD. I think.
And Tarantino also
Okay.
had all the they had like this video segment where all of the reviewers who had given him glowing reviews for Reservoir Dogs read their reviews. So that's another piece that's gone. And again,
Did
all
you
the
see?
Sundance stuff is gone. But yeah,
Did you see Reservoir Dogs before Pulp Fiction?
no, technically no.
Yeah,
But I
didn't
did
either.
see Pulp Fiction was my introduction to Tarantino. But then
Yeah, it was mine too.
soon thereafter, I saw Reservoir Dogs. But yeah,
Yeah, so for those that don't know, it's probably most people. I worked in a video store pretty much all through growing, all my teenage years. I knew of Reservoir Dogs, but I didn't see it until after I saw Pulp Fiction. I saw Pulp Fiction a lot in the theater, and I was like, "Oh yeah,
yeah.
this Tarantino guy did do another movie before this," and that's when I went back and
Funnily
watched
enough, though, I had seen True Romance and Natural Born Killers before that, and I didn't care for Natural Born Killers, but I love
Yeah,
True Romance, so go figure.
I had seen Natural Born Killers a couple times in the theater, but not True Romance. I didn't see True Romance at that point, but Natural Born Killers I saw a couple times in the theater. So,
Wow, and you can tell
yeah.
just by watching them that True Romance is definitely a Tarantino film, and Natural Born Killers
Oliver
is
Stone
not.
did a
It's
lot
an
of,
Oliver Stone
yeah,
film, yeah.
yeah, he did a lot of fuckery with the screenplay for Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, as far as Tarantino
I
is
still
concerned,
enjoy
none
it,
of his
though.
movies in there.
Yeah, I still enjoy Natural Born Killers, but yeah.
Because to him, like True Romance and Natural Born Killers were almost like sequels. Like they were two very different sides of a coin. Like you
Well,
had,
yeah,
yeah,
and made by two very different directors. I mean, Tony Scott was much more of a commercial director than Oliver
right.
Stone
But when he
was.
wrote them, they were meant to be like companion
Yeah,
pieces, is what I'm trying to
yeah,
say.
yeah. I
But
got you. I got you. Yeah.
but they didn't turn out that way. So, but with that, then I also did get Wayne's World in the mail today, and I actually managed to watch that quickly before the show. It does seem to suffer from some of Paramount's recent fuckery, as we like to call it, but not as bad as Scream and some of the other ones. After the first
Okay.
few, like the first, for some reason, first few minutes of the movie, outside of the obvious optical reasons, like even the shot where Wayne's talking to the camera in his kitchen is heavily DNR'd for some reason. Like you can even see it in his face. But then
Yeah,
after a
this
while, it seems to clear up. And then there's a few shots here and there that are kind of off. But like I said, outside of optical reasons, which I can excuse, and I understand why those would be, degraded picture.
right.
For the most part, I wouldn't give it a glowing review, but it looks much better than it ever has on DVD and Blu-ray. But here, my biggest gripe is that they have yet to bring back those menus from the first DVD of Wayne's World, which I put as a trailer before the show, if you guys caught it. Which is a clever little menu. It looked like the old cable,
I think they would.
like you scroll down to whatever show you
Yeah,
want to
they
watch.
probably just don't want to take the time to recreate that stuff because it's a
Probably.
different technology in building those menus. They probably just don't.
But it
want
was
to
fun
recreate
because
it.
even like you go click
Yeah.
on the Brady Bunch and it would play a clip from the Brady Bunch. And then I can't remember the other movie that was on there, but then they play a clip from that movie. And you click on Wayne's World, of course, it plays the movie, and they had a special features button and hidden in there and scene selections and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was just fun. It was fun. And we were talking just before the show. It's like they could have implemented a lot of that stuff in Blu-ray technology. In fact, they could have taken it even farther. They just never did. They never,
just never took the time to
developed
do
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Atmos soundtrack is nice upgrade.
Oh,
Not
okay.
only that, for the first time since I saw it in theaters, that I finally get to hear the stairway bit. They finally restored it. So
Nice.
there you go.
Yeah, I probably won't be picking that up on 4K. I'll probably just stick with the Blu-ray. A lot of those, I'll only rebuy stuff on 4K that's like big special effects
I get
stuff.
what you're saying in this
Comedies
case.
and dramas, as long as
I
the previous
mean,
Blu-ray wasn't horrible, I probably won't pick it.
in comparison, because I did flip back and forth between the two. Like the old Blu-ray looks like dog ass, but
Plus, I have Wayne's World on 4K on digital.
in
So
that
it's-
case,
you know.
yeah, in that case, you're probably, I don't know if you're gonna pull that much. I mean, you'll pull obviously a little bit better picture out of it, but being that it's not like a
For the number of
huge
times I'm going to watch
huge,
Wayne's World,
right.
you know, I haven't watched it in over a decade. So
Now compared to like now the two that I watched this week that had amazing fucking pictures on them. And I'm not going to go through all the movies because I'll talk about those later on Greg's show, but Highlander looks great, but that one doesn't blow you away as much because Lionsgate did such a great job on that 2015 or whatever disc it was year it came out for the 30th anniversary.
yeah, it's a nice Blu-ray. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean the upgrade here is not a huge uptick, but is one of the best looking natural 4K pictures I've seen.
Yeah,
in a
I'm
while.
looking
Like,
forward. Yeah, I'm looking forward to
great
that one.
grain structure, great picture, great resolution. Again, like if you've already been enjoying that Blu-ray that's been out for a while, you're gonna be like, it ain't that big of an upgrade. But compared to the old Blu-ray, yes, it's a huge upgrade.
Yeah, it gives me hope for Aliens when it finally gets released on 4K because it was shot on, I believe, on the
Same
same
era,
film stock.
probably same stock. I can see that
Yeah,
because it's a very
there was
grainy.
that really low light film stock. So
Yeah, it's a very grainy film stock. So do understand it is a very harsh grain film, but it looks brilliant.
yeah, I'm looking
Even
forward to that.
outside of just a few of the optical shots that clearly, they couldn't do anything about. Because you can tell that Mulcahy was probably messing with some video effects.
Oh, yeah.
So, like I mean,
There's
straight
always-
literal video effects. So there's some dips and some quality in some of the effects shots, but you're like, yeah,
he
it's
was
probably
always
because he was
kind of
playing with
experimental.
actual video. That's why.
Yeah, he was always kind of experimental in a lot of his earlier movies because he came from
Specifically, the one that sticks out is
background.
the one that's in the eyeball. Like you can almost see like the video noise around it, where it's like, yeah, that the quality of that and everything that looks like that was probably done on video and then transferred to film.
Did you ever see his movie Razorback?
I have it, but
It's got
I've
some
only seen
interesting
scenes from it.
It's got some interesting camera and editing work in it too. I think that was his.
I got to
first feature film.
imagine.
Yeah, Razorback's
No, I
pretty
loved
good.
it.
If
And
anybody out there
Mystery
hasn't seen
Men.
Razorback, it's pretty good.
Mystery
I
Men
forgot
looked
about Mystery Men coming out.
amazing.
Oh, it's got to
yes.
because the old Universal scan was shit. It's gotta
Yeah,
be-
well,
gotta be.
not just that, but just and this is why I'm feeling good about any
That one
upcoming.
I'll probably
'cause,
pick up.
yeah, Universal did a great job on this. They didn't add or take, like, and of course this movie pops just because it's very stylized,
Very colorful, very
colorful,
saturated. Yeah,
but it has a very nice natural look to it. They, from what it appears, like have pretty much almost all the negatives, so it looks great.
yeah. I forgot that was coming out. I am going to pick that one up. I'm going to pick
It
that.
actually looks like they might have had a little damage to the negative. It's minor, just minor. Like there's, God, it runs for about 10-15 minutes in one scene, maybe not even that long, where there's a line that runs through the camera they were obviously using for Ben Stiller's close-ups. But like they did a pretty good job covering it up. Other than that, it looks brilliant. It looks really
I was
great.
always-
and
I was always kind of surprised that film didn't do better than it did when it was out. But then
it's ahead of its time.
like,
I would argue it's
yeah.
ahead of its time.
the more you think about it, it's like, yeah, okay, I can see why what didn't really click with people.
But
I
if it
loved
come
it.
out, if it had come out just before or after Avengers or something like that, I bet you it would have done gangbusters.
Oh yeah, it would have done better.
Yeah, but no, it still holds up. Like I laughed my ass off, and it's been a good 5 years or better since I've watched it.
And it's
was
been
one of the
quite
first-
a few years since I've seen it too.
And it was one of the early DVDs. I remember the DVD looked amazing. The Blu-ray left a little bit to be desired, like you said, but
Yeah, because I think
this
it's just the old
upgrade
DVD
is
master. So
probably. But this upgrade here is great. Not only do you get, I believe, everything carried over from the old stuff, but you got some new stuff here too, which is nice. So, and I don't know if that's officially available yet because I got that through Kino Direct, and I think I got that a little early compared to some, but it might be available this week. I think, or I thought it was the 22nd or whatever. It's available.
okay.
But it's coming. If not, it's out already. One of the two.
Dr. C in the chat got my NERF M41A. He's referring to the Aliens Pulse Rifle. I got that too, and I actually have an unboxing video on my channel, which all of you
Nice.
should be subscribed to. Astro Skull Media on YouTube. And last week I posted that. I got the Hasbro NERF M41A. I'm looking at it right now. that pulse rifle. I did a little unboxing video for it. That is the first first Nerf gun I have purchased since my son was probably 8 or 9 years old. So.
I wasn't even aware of that.
It's pretty cool. It's got the sound effects. It's got the little LED counter for the ammo. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Double Fat also brings up a point. Yeah, that it came out at a crappy time for comic book movies. Mystery Men did. Came out at that tail end. Like I said, if it would have been just a couple years later, it probably would have been gangbusters. But was there any new films that you got a chance to check out this week, Mike?
Pearl. I didn't catch Pearl in the theater. I didn't see X until it came out on home video. I didn't bother going to see it. I thought X was okay. I wasn't really shocked by it. I thought it was okay. It really wasn't much I hadn't seen before. But I really enjoyed Pearl. Pearl was very different. It was very stylized. It looked like an older film. It was like very oversaturated Technicolor look. Everything's kind of exaggerated in it. It's very stylized. And Pearl actually made X a better film. So I really enjoyed Pearl. But I watched it last night. Have you seen X or Pearl?
No, but I know what they are. Now, are these the ones that they haven't gotten 4K releases yet?
Yeah, they haven't gotten 4K releases. They keep rumoring that X is going to get a 4K release.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, someone was talking about that.
I wasn't going to buy Pearl on disc. I was going to wait, but the price dropped to $15. So I was like, I might as well get it. So, because I enjoyed X. Like I said, I didn't think it was fantastic or anything, but I liked it. So I went and got it. And I heard good things about Pearl. I really enjoyed Pearl. I thought that Pearl was a lot of fun. It's very much a character study more than a horror film, but it does have its horror elements. But it actually, watching it makes X a better film because you get the background on the villain in X, and it just makes X just a more enriching, if that's the right word, film. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. But that's the only other film I bought this week. I got Reservoir Dogs and Pearl. It's that time of year where I don't really buy a whole lot of films for myself. So, yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah, Maxine comes out sometime next year. Yeah, and that should be probably shot in a very 80s style because it's going to take place in the 80s. Yeah. The only reason they didn't because they filmed Pearl and X at the same time on a farm in New Zealand. That's why Pearl came out so quickly after X. They filmed it at the same time, basically. Maxine, I guess, is going to be shot in Los Angeles because I think it takes place in Los Angeles. So it's going to take place like in an actual city, and they're going to have actual locations and stuff other than just the one location. So
Max Relax sends in 11 euros. Fancy money. Says thanks for
real
some
money.
Quality entertainment, Tom and Mike. And of course, you can check out Mike's link in the description. And Greg I'll be heading over there. I don't know if Mike will make it, but that late,
Doubtful.
but you usually don't. But I'll be heading over to Greg's here in just a little bit to talk about all the movies I watched in this last week, including the ones I brought up here. So you can check me out there to hear a little bit more about my feelings on those. Other than that, was there anything else you wanted to plug before we head out the door?
I don't think so. Just my just newly started up channel. You guys want to give that a shout out? I'm gonna be doing some reviews, some opinions on stuff. I'm also kind of an aviation buff, so I'm going to be filming some stuff, some aircraft at the National Museum of the United States Air Force from time to time. Last week, I just put up a video tour of the Memphis Belle. You might want to check out. So.
Nice.
Other than that.
All right. Sounds good, my friend. And take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you later on physical media. And until next time, we'll see you.